Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Now, Bitcoin cycle mid-top has never been made without a revisit to the monthly least square moving average. This is what Crypto.com has noticed down here, guys. Take a look at this. We're at the mid-top, 0.618. I know I've been drilling this point home. The reason I'm drilling this point home is because we are to expect another retracement, and I don't want people to be caught off guard with this. I know the sentiment is already quite low in the space. XRP has not moved as much as maybe some people have wanted it to. But we got to stay focused. We got to stay on track. Check this out. Okay, support needs to be retested as it was in 2019, as it did occur also in 2016, and we saw it occur as well in 2012. Okay, when the support is retested, that is when the market is going to shoot up. And so CryptoCon here is still projecting a $30,000 Bitcoin roughly. This number is increasingly steady, but price has come nowhere close to the already tested support. This and many other long-term data observations continue to line up in this area. In a rare example, even 2019 tested this moving average as support without the Blackswan event. So we do have to remember that in 2020, we did see the Blackswan event due to the beer flu pandemic. And so he says here, which is usually broken below healthy supports. Many have been quick to say the low is in, but not enough data supports that quite yet. So we did see that retracement, of course. Let me just bring up the Bitcoin chart here. We did see that, and it was a significant retracement from $49,000. Here, let me bring up the price range tool, $49,000 per Bitcoin. It did go all the way down here to about $38,500. That is about 21.5%. And now we're trading in and around here. So Bitcoin has rebounded a bit. Now it's only down about 14% since that localized high. A Bitcoin price as of the time of this recording at around $42,200 per coin. Now, the thing we have to remember, and what a lot of people are hoping for, I know a lot of people are hoping for this, 49,000, that was that localized high that we have to break, is that now from here, we are seeing what is looking like somewhat of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. And yes, this definitely does denote an upward trajectory, but what is likely going to happen here is that we do something like this, maybe even retest that $49,000 level, and maybe go down even further. Guys, remember, this is the hourly chart. Throw this on the daily, and the trend still has a lot of room to move, okay? So here we go. On the daily, we have seen these trends play out for numerous days, 60 days, 90 days of a downward trajectory. Bitcoin seeing new lows, perhaps back down in that $30,000 range before a new move to the upside. The dominance of Bitcoin is still sitting at 50.9%. So these days we're looking at dominance a lot closer because the altcoins have not budged. So we are not seeing that alt season. Neutral sentiment in the space, people not really knowing what to do, at least not yet. I mean, if you're following me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel, I personally am making some moves. I just got into another position the other day. If you guys are interested in seeing my portfolio, complete transparency, seeing what I'm trading, and how much money I'm throwing into these coins, you can follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. But by and large, guys, the altcoins have not moved vis-a-vis Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's still the big mover. Everybody's still eyeing Bitcoin to see what the next big move will be. Even the CEO of eBay has put in his XRP prediction. This one courtesy of XRP Crypto Wolf. Guys, check this out. Matthew Dixon, CEO of the analytics platform eBay, believes that the XRP digital currency might experience a slight dip before gaining momentum and seeing a higher push to the upside. So this, by and large, just demonstrating kind of an overall picture. I mean, he's focusing on XRP particularly, but I think if this is the case, this is likely the case for most altcoins. This is what he said. We may fall back a little before we should get another push higher. And again, guys, this is Matthew Dixon, AI and ML-driven crypto ratings platform. So he works in the space, MSC, finance and investment. So he does trade. And what he's looking at here on the XRP chart, another push down before we do see those newer highs. Now, if that occurs, would you be surprised? I know I would not be surprised one bit. And I could see the altcoin market following along with Bitcoin's next push down. So I'm also still of the opinion that Bitcoin is going to push down further. Right now, we've got an XRP trading at about 52.5 cents. So this is the daily. Let me just zoom out on this daily trend. Still holding up strong, XRP. So we aren't seeing huge downward swings for XRP. It's still forming that Nike swoosh pattern. That trend line is nicely still intact there. So guys, if we do see an XRP push to the downside and it goes along with the rest of the crypto market, please do not be afraid. This is par for the course. Never look at any one coin in isolation. Always examine it within the broader scope of the crypto space, because you will get a better sense of what your coin is doing compared to other coins. And I forget who it was who told me this, but really great advice when you are trading. It always feels a lot worse, like 100 times worse, when your investment goes down versus when your investment goes up. So, I mean, if you see your investment go up 50%, and think about it, when you've seen your investment go up, you just feel, okay, that's good. I'm good. Let's keep moving to the upside. But if your investment goes down even 25, 30%, that feeling, the pit in your stomach, tends to feel a lot worse, doesn't it? I know it did for me when I first started trading. These are all things that we have to work through. Anyway, that is what Matthew Dixon is saying. Michael Branch, guys, bringing this to us. It's not all negative. Even though we're getting some negative news in the XRP community specifically, we do have to focus on the metrics. We got to look at on-chain analytics. Guys, check this out. XRP wallets with a non-zero balance. Okay, so wallets that have XRP have reached a record high of 5 million, marking a milestone in its 10-year history. So this is the story looking at technical analytics. On January the 27th, on-chain analytics platform Sentiment has reported that the number of wallets on the XRP ledger holding a balance above zero has reached 5.02 million. So we have cracked that 5 million milestone. It added that the milestone represents the highest level in its 10 years of trading history. So it is also worth noting that the most significant spike in the network adoption happened in the last 3 years. So just basically since we did see XRP see that localized high. Also coincidentally, maybe not so coincidentally, at a time when we did see the most XRP adoption in the space, Ripple just keeps growing, and XRP adoption just becomes more prevalent and prevalent in countries around the world. I mean, we're still waiting on the US, but countries around the world are also seeing more XRP adoption. So XRP addresses nearly doubled, representing a 170% increase since the beginning of 2020. Furthermore, the number of transactions on the XRP ledger from one wallet to another reached an all-time high of almost 6 million earlier this month. And you guys can find those statistics at XRP Scan. All the links here are in the description of the video. I post everything in the description. So if you guys want to go back to this article, you can find it all in the description of the video. This despite the fact that XRP price is still hanging on at about 52.5 cents. So remember, this is a blessing in disguise. XRP price is staying very, very low, even though we are seeing more utility in the space, more addresses. We have just now cracked that 5 million address milestone. So great news here. Wanted to thank Michael for posting that. Much controversy has been making headlines within the XRP community as well with regards to XRPL validators voting on some of the latest amendments. Real XRP Boy posted this. Moon Lambo, right over the target. Everything has been meticulously thought through. From what I've seen, geniuses worked on this ledger, and we still must hodl. Who chooses the XRP validators? This is coming from David Schwartz, a Quora post from a few years ago. Every participant chooses the validators they wish to listen to. There was a time the XRPL almost came to a halt. Was the time of the spam attack. If you're talking about the incident, I think you're talking about it was a weekend when a few of the most popular validators coincidentally failed at the same time. So David Schwartz giving us a bit of a snapshot in history here when it comes to the XRP ledger. This shouldn't have happened. There was other validators available, just not on the default list. Why is this list decision centralized? It doesn't particularly matter who's on the list. It doesn't represent control or authority. This is an unusual case where that you agree is more important than what you agree on. Imagine there are 100 people in a room and every time 90% of them agree on an answer. They get $100 each. So someone walks in the room and says, I'll give you $100 if 90% of you can agree on a number between 1 and 100. This goes on. The most logical thing for most people of those 100 people to do is just once agree on one person in the room whose answer they will all copy. So long as one person picks a number each time, they will agree and get the $100 each time. Of course, if that person stops picking numbers, then they'll have to pick another person to copy. But as long as that one person keeps picking numbers, everyone wins every time. So David Schwartz giving us a bit of an analogy of how simple it is, and the human behavior behind the validators. And he was talking about this 3 years ago. Who votes? Who's behind them? And what the incentive can be. This is the situation with XRP validators, he says. What the validators choose doesn't really matter. They're solving the double spend problem, resolving how the system will make forward progress among equally good ways to make progress forward. So this coming at a time, guys, when there's a lot of upheaval in the XRP community, specifically around the XRPL validators. And I haven't really been following this too much because for me, I'm interested in XRP price. I'm interested in my token rising in value. And so, when it comes to all this nitty-gritty technical stuff, that really doesn't interest me. I try to give you guys as much information about Ripple and XRP as possible. So I am going to be touching on this today a little bit. Lord Vendetta here posting this morning. Ripple avoids paying XRP as a reward for operating a validator, so such incentives do not warp the behavior of validators. So talking about an incentive, David Schwartz originally did say no incentive is the best incentive, and Lord Vendetta is echoing that sentiment here. We need a cleanup, he says. A lot of validators want the money only. They don't care about anything long-term for the XRP ledger. And some people want to change the ethic of the XRPL because they are mad and think they know better than David Schwartz. Incentives provide temporary compliance, giving the impression that problems have been solved. It's harder to spot the long-term damage they cause. Once the incentives diminish or disappear, validator behavior will change and XRPL will be in deep trouble. The people who support this are the same ones who didn't even know XRP can be used on RippleNet. I'm okay with these types of native incentives, such as rewards for using hooks, holding XRP for a specific length of time and locking XRP. By the way, I can't wait for the AMM on the XRP ledger, but people think XRP will pump if the AMM are approved and live. AMM are extremely good for the long run. People who also think that they will provide their XRP on certain pools and they will make money nonstop without risk, you need a strategy, a real one, to really make it with the AMM. So I recently did do a video on AMM and some theories surrounding that. I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner for you guys. So an interesting perspective here from Lord Vendetta. Leonidas here, a longtime XRP community member, posted this. I disagree with the no incentive is the best incentive narrative, as well as the Ripple should provide incentives narrative. Allowing validators to earn a fraction of XRPL transaction fees could be a step in the right direction incentive-wise, but Panos here disagreeing. Allowing validators to earn transaction fees is a horrible idea in my opinion, as this will lead to validators having an incentive to increase fees on purpose to earn more. Something we have seen with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Nobody would like that on the XRP ledger. Okay, so many different opinions now in the space. Yassine Mubarak has also been very, very vocal. I no longer agree that the best incentive is no incentive. This really has gotten people torn. I didn't realize how serious people are getting about this. But I guess, if you're developing on the XRP ledger, this is going to affect your bottom line. Sento Sumo Saba did post, look how fast Evernode spun up a decentralized infra, 3440 nodes in less than 15 days. And Yassine Mubarak did respond here. I've been involved in this ecosystem since the early days, 2013. It's sad and shameful to see, one, how Ripple mishandled the incentives concept in the XRP ledger. Two, how they passed on the concept of programmable transfer of value before Ethereum even existed, and three, how they continued to milk the escrow account without any meaningful benefit to the ecosystem and public ledger. There, I said it. So there's no shortage of opinions here in the XRP community when it's coming to validation and incentives. I will link, of course, all these tweet threads in the description of the video if you guys want to chime in on some of these, if you have an opinion on this particular issue. I also just kind of wanted to take a moment to tell you guys thanks so much. Working Money Channel has been accumulating a few more subscribers, guys. We're less than 1,000 away to get to 100,000 subscribers, and I'm trying to do this by March the 31st. I'm going to be giving away in early April 2 Ledger Nanos, a Ledger Nano X and a Ledger Nano S. So if you guys are interested to win a free cold storage wallet solution, so they're fully sealed, brand new, guys, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers by March the 31st, and thanks so much to all my new subscribers. Did you guys notice this as well? Courtesy of the ISO Goat here. We're just coming out of Davos. It's been a week since Davos, and recently the World Economic Forum released this report here, the Global Risks Report 2024, Doom and Gloom and Gloom and Doom, 19th edition, warning us, okay? And some are saying that this could be telegraphing what is to happen next. Acting today, highlighted here by the ISO Goat, saying, a lot of these things are kind of dire right now. We're looking at focusing on the top risks emerging over the next decade against a backdrop of geostrategic, climate, technological, and demographic shifts, diving deeper into the 4 specific risk outlooks. Now, I don't know if he has the report here. Yeah, the report is linked here. So I will link this tweet in the description so you guys can get to that report. As we enter 2024, here are GRPS results highlighting a predominantly negative outlook for the world over the next 2 years that is expected to worsen over the next decade. And guys, this entire report is basically highlighting all the potential negative factors that could change our lives in a negative capacity. So a recent crisis that corrode resilience, as well as new and rapidly evolving sources of risk that will reshape the next decade. For the first one-year time frame, respondents were asked to select up to 5 risks that they feel the most likely to present a material crisis on a global scale in 2024. So this forecasting for this particular year, current risk landscape, and most people, 66%, have said extreme weather. Followed by 53% at AI-generated misinformation and disinformation. Interesting. Societal and or political polarization at 46%. Cost of living comes in at 42%. Cyber attacks at 39%. Economic downturn at 33%. And then the list goes on here. Again, I will link this in the description. But guys, we all know the WEF does not put anything out unless they are kind of planning to make this a reality. So is this a black swan warning specifically for 2024? What piqued my interest as well was on the heels of this, guys, I also happened to see this article here from the Daily Hodl. JP Morgan, Citibank, and Goldman Sachs are drafting a landmark lawsuit against the Fed of all organizations. Yes, the Federal Reserve. A group of America's biggest banking titans are considering whether they should pull a shocking move suing the Federal Reserve. Now, I thought all these guys were on board. Is there internal strife that maybe we're not privy to? And I mean, you know, this kind of goes along with this black swan thing. Maybe the WEF thinks, okay, our plan isn't going as planned, so now we've got to create another crisis. Now we've got to make this a lot worse for people, a lot quicker. I don't know. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. Here they're saying JP Morgan, Citibank, and Goldman Sachs are on the list of major banks that are using their trade group, have hired one of the best conservative trial lawyers in the country to draft the lawsuit. Eugene Scalia, son of the former Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, is spearheading the legal effort, which would aim to eliminate proposed rules that would force banks to increase the amount of cash they have on hand. So, you know, this goes to the fact that CBDCs are becoming a very hot button issue, and they want to contest the idea of having cash on hand. Banks obviously want to have less cash on hand, and so this would be the first of its kind. They want to sue the Fed. It would be the first time in recent history that the industry has sued the Federal Reserve, and a departure from the standard halls of power persuasion efforts that try to avoid antagonizing their chief regulator. The Fed wants banks to hold an additional 20% in cash on their balance sheets. The move is designed to ensure that they have enough capital to withstand concerns about liquidity and avert the types of bank runs that ripped through the banking sector 1 year ago. So guys, this is also coming out very concerning. Part of the reason is because these banks are feeling like the future isn't tokenization, whether it's cash or assets. Tokenization is where we're going to see our assets now being digitized on a DLT platform like the XRPL. Raoul Pal recently did an interview with Jan van Eck. Listen to this.
Also, how are you thinking through tokenization of funds and the future of your business?
The constraints for anything can be tokenized. I feel like I've got a little bit of an insight as an ETF person because I index very much on one big issue, which is liquidity. Who provides the liquidity? Anyone can theoretically tokenize anything, but if there's a buyer and a seller of an asset, so someone's got to make that market, right? And you think, oh, Jan, S&P 500. It's so obvious, so easy to price, but someone has to make a market in it, Raul, and someone's got to make money making a market in it. So it's not just the, oh, I can create a tokenized real world asset of anything. It's who's providing the market structure around the liquidity. So that's big picture question number one. Big picture question number two is, where can you do that without a lot of regulatory headache, right? And you know, in the world today, you're not doing that in the United States. That's fine. Now, it'll be really interesting. You know, my bet is on Europe just because it's got a large retail market, you know, as well as having a regulatory structure that enables, you know, crypto investing and trading and whatnot. But, you know, we'll see. I think there's a lot of developments need to happen. But those are the big things that I focus on.
So tokenizing, probably not in the United States, but focusing on Europe. Of course, we know this is all going on the distributed ledger. Which brings me to this, guys. Mr. Mann posting this. When T1 settlement is achieved, it can mean that cryptocurrencies are being used for faster settlement times. T1 refers to the trade date plus 1 business day for settlement cycle. The transition to the T+1 settlement is expected to provide several benefits for investors and market participants. He was noticing this. The Bank of America is saying that they're preparing for T1 settlement. Now, we know Bank of America is a key Ripple partner. The other thing that I wanted to bring up here, no, it wasn't here. It was this. Another post from Mr. Mann. Some people have asked, what are the implications of T+1 and T+0? The implication of T+1 and T+0 for instant settlements with central bank digital currency, CBDCs, are significant. Moving from a T+2 or T+1 settlement cycle to T+0 allows for near real-time or instantaneous settlement of transactions, reducing counterparty credit and liquidity risks in the financial system. Here we have a panel at the European Blockchain Convention, a conversation with Ripple's James Wallace, Nadia Filali, and the speaker Laurent Marchini. Listen to this.
The role of CBDCs in capital markets, I think, would be a good place to start. So where do you see the key value add for a CBDC in this sector of the economy, if you could pick one or two points?
Yes, so I will continue. Yes, it's like, finally, it's like having a Ferrari, a strong car, and you are limited to 20 kilometers per hour. It's the same. So definitely, we see there is a strong potential for the tokenization of financial asset and non-financial asset today. In the capital market, if you just have a look to the different figures, there is a potential market of 20 trillions of US dollar by 2030. With equities, with bonds, certificate products, real estate, and so on. So there is indeed a strong potential. But if you don't have the cash on chain, you will not have the efficiency. What does it mean to have the cash off chain? That means that you will have to make the tokenization, and on the other side, you will have to manage the cash. Today, we have a T+2, T+3 in terms of settlement. With the cash off chain, it will be a T+1. With the cash off-chain T+1, but with the cash on-chain, everything on-chain, with a CBDC, it will be T+0 or T+15 minutes. Let's say T+15 minutes. CBDC is indeed very, very important also from a risk perspective, because if you want to make a DVP with a stable coin and another issuer from a capital markets and risk perspective, it will make no sense. For us, so definitely the time settlement is very important, the efficiency is very important, and the last point is for me the cross-border payment, which will bring a lot of value added in countries where it makes sense.
Now, talking about the T+1 or T+0 settlement, we have to remember tokenization on chain. James Wallace from Ripple was present at this event here, right there on the panel. You can see him right there. So these big companies are talking about this, in terms of it really coming to fruition. Utility, here we come. This one coming from ISO 20022. Let's do it. Another connection to Ripple, guys, through Citi. Also discussing T+1's integration and it being very straightforward. Ultimately, the industry needs to work together to ensure that T+1's integration is straightforward. The industry needs to collaborate and facilitate interoperability of systems, something that Ripple has been focusing on since the beginning. And then they say whether it is Fix, Swift, or any other proprietary system. And then down here, guys, they say there is also a general acceptance that T+0 will only be possible if new disruptive technologies are assimilated into the post-trade operating model. It is hard to imagine a T+0 working efficiently without DLT technology, which of course is distributed ledger technology, which of course an example of that, the XRP ledger. And considering Citi and the Bank of America are both partnered with Ripple in some capacity, we can only make sense that $20 trillion, what was it, 20 trillion that this gentleman here was talking about, 20 trillion that we could see by the year 2030, can and possibly will, in fact, settle on DLT technology like the XRP ledger. We're going to see a lot of interoperability in the meantime, guys, but I think the winners will prevail. Cream will rise to the top, and maybe only a handful of DLT solutions will succeed in the end. I've hedged my bets. Have you guys hedged yours? That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel. Gotta hit 100,000, guys, by March the 31st, so please subscribe now to the channel. If you have not already, like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.